Okay, so the question is to look for the good and to think about one of our favorite memories and stories. My first IACAC conference was definitely an experience and it felt very overwhelming. I was basically attempting to do a full schedule of sessions, but also network. And I was the only person attending my very first conference at IACAC from my office. So it was a little bit of a nerve wracking experience. However, I networked a ton. And by the end of that, I basically ended up becoming a volunteer of First Timers Committee, uh, something that happens to a lot of us after we finish our first exciting experience with ISAC. So recently, I was reminded of a specific instance that I hadn't really thought much about. I don't usually think a lot about that idea of sitting at the table with first timers. It just feels really fun, right? That's usually why we all volunteer. But I was reminded of a really kind of interesting moment in one of my previous volunteer roles with them. So I was on a call with my coworker recently. We're sitting in a Zoom room waiting on the Zoom to start. And she randomly informs me that I was her table host for her first ICAC conference. Kind of reminded me that I was old. And then I thought, oh, okay. And then she asked if I remember the first thing I said to her and her two coworkers when they sat down at my table. Now, I'll be honest, I kind of cringed. I wasn't really sure where this conversation was going. I wasn't sure what I had said, hoping it was really nice, but I just wasn't sure. So I kind of held my breath and I said, no, 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 I don't remember. And luckily she smiled and she basically said, oh, yeah, you basically told us why in the world are y'all sitting together? Like you're supposed to be networking. This is first timers conference. That's what this is made for. Um, and so I kind of sigh of relief, like, whew, okay. One, that does sound like me, very direct per usual. But two, it was good advice, I think. And she, kind of giggled and said, yeah. You were just trying to make sure that we had a good experience. It was good advice, and I appreciate you making sure that we were making the most of our time. And so I think now it seems like a really small kind of thing. I would consider her a networking queen at this point in her career. And so for her to kind of bring up, like, hey, that thing you said to me about networking really stuck. And for her to say that now, it just really kind of reminded me, like, man, those really big roles are impactful, but a lot of the small roles and things that we do, just a conversation in passing or whatever, really do make a difference and really do make the work that we do so special as IACC. So I think that's probably one of my favorites the last couple of years.